Blessings, Rose Council Queens. I am Allie McPhee of Modern Goddess Lifestyle, where I help women balance their hormones naturally through nutrition, delicious recipes, divine feminine practices, and sensual embodiment practices. We are in the kitchen today, and I'm going to be sharing with you a delicious recipe and elixir for your inner goddess that is embodying the sense of taste and being able to enjoy it with all of our taste buds as we go and flow through the kitchen, learning about all these different medicinal foods that are great for our bodies and great for our hormones and great for our adrenals. So I just want to take a moment to honor and call in the support of the Magdalene. I believe the Magdalenes are a consciousness that we are remembering. And for those who are embodying this consciousness are here to do the work of sacred union, balancing these extreme polarities of masculine and feminine, and really just embodying this union that is within everything and that is within. And so I believe that coming into the kitchen and working with food, getting our hands, with touching the food, this is a way to ground into our bodies. Because as women in this modern day society and all the roles that we play, we may be feeling very ungrounded, as well as intuitives. We may be up in these higher chakras and not fully in this body. So I believe when we're in the kitchen, and again, we've got our hands in the food, we're touching, we're smelling, we're tasting, this is a way to be in our body and to root down so that we can bring this information from above into this temple and then transmute it so we can help others and we can birth our sacred dreams into the world. So are you ready to learn about this elixir? I have something very delicious prepared for you today. I'm going to be making a cacao elixir for your inner goddess. And Dia is also in this course. She has shared with me the sacred connection to the spirit of cacao, the plant medicine. And we're going to be working with ceremonial grade cacao. And it is my greatest intention that we bring ritual to food, that we connect to food and slow down and experience it as a co-creative process with the divine, with Mama Gaia's nourishment, with lovemaking with life, essentially. And so I feel that the sense of taste is about experiencing pleasure. And again, as modern day women, as we're going through our daily lives from task to task to task, trying to be all these roles and perform all these things, we can get depleted, we can get burned out, and we can get disconnected from pleasure, which is our birthright. How hard is it to birth something into the world, to create something in the world, when we feel like we have to push on through, that we have to keep going, that it just becomes about the task? When we're able to slow down and really engage all of our senses and feel this limitless of time, that's when the creative juices are flowing. That is pleasure. So I love to invite this idea of pleasure into the kitchen. I come from a background of emotional eating. That is a lot of the experiences that perpetuated me into doing this work of helping women balance their hormones and loving their bodies fearlessly and finding ways to honor our food cravings and dance with our food cravings rather than restricting and repressing even further. There were so many years that I thought if I eat this certain way and I'm so good, that I'll lose weight and I'll feel great and I'll be beautiful, and then life happens, emotions happen, and suddenly I swung the opposite pendulum and then ate the whole ice cream pint, right? Have you been there? Or perhaps you get intense food cravings right before your menstrual cycle comes in your please make space phase of your menstrual cycle. And with these food cravings, you feel like you're stuck to eating carbohydrates all day long, and you're feeling these ups and downs from the sugar, from the blood sugar imbalances that can occur, which can actually tax the adrenals even more. If this is something that you feel stuck like a slave to in a cage, I am here to share with you in either of these scenarios that there's another way, and it's through honoring your food cravings by making delicious elixirs that are warming, that have hormone balancing herbs, that taste delicious, and help you feel like a goddess so that you can truly slow down and come into pleasure, experience the sense of taste, be in this body temple by honoring her and giving her foods that are going to create more sustainability, create more vitality, and create more life force energy. So let's get started, shall we? So first I'm going to be using rose petals, and this is the base that I'm making for the tea. As you know, in this Queen's Council, we're learning that rose is the highest vibrational frequency. So I like to make my elixirs with the base of rose tea, and I have it steeping here in this little mug. And this is warm while this is hot. I'm gonna briefly go through all the ingredients that I'm using and put it in my Vitamix blender and blend it all up. So next we're going to be using some Ceremonial grade cacao. This is from one of my favorite companies called Firefly Cacao, and they have all different flavors. This one actually is dark cacao with medicinal mushrooms. So it's got 10 different mushrooms, turkey tail, reishi, maitake mushrooms, all good for stress relief and adaptogenic support. So good for the adrenals. Love this stuff, and the immune system. I'm also going to be adding in, let's see, next ingredient would be Shilijat. So Shilijat is, you can either get it in a powder or a resin. And with this, woo, smells super bitter. This powder, this resin actually, is created when the volcano erupts and the lava is flowing over the forest floor. It decompresses the forest and creates a resin. And it's super high in fulvic acid. That's spelled Fulvic, fulvic acid, which helps, it actually helps the cell produce more energy. So if you are having food cravings and you're tired, it's right before your bleed comes or during your bleed, this is awesome to add into your elixirs because it can help produce more energy at a cellular level. And it does have a pretty bitter flavor. That's why I like to mix it with this elixir recipe and mix it with the cacao, because the cacao kind of masks the bitterness of this Shilijat. And then also, let's see what's next. We're going to be adding in some Womb Yen Nutritive, this love tonic. I love this stuff. This is by Medicinal Foods, and this is an aphrodisiac. Again, it supports the adrenals. It helps the spleen assimilate nutrients. It helps with healthy hair and skin. Some of these herbs, such as goji berry and longanberry and schisandra berry, when soldiers would come to kings to honor the king, they would also honor the queen by bringing these Chinese herbs and say, your queen is so beautiful, may she live long and beautiful forever. And they would offer up these berries to the queen in honor of her beauty. So they're known as beauty longevity herbs. And I love this nutritive supplement. Both of these supplements I will provide a link for. It's not necessary to add this into your recipe. Actually, you can modify this recipe however you like. I also have brought over here some ashwagandha, which this is really good for adrenal support as well, and the thyroid. So if you wanted to just add in your own powder like ashwagandha, that's another option as well. And then next, I brought some hemp seeds, and I love adding some kind of nut or hemp seeds into my elixirs as well, because I'm using the Vitamix blender and everything's going to be blending up really well because it's a high-speed blender. I love adding nuts or seeds, and this helps with the creaminess of the texture of the elixir. I love elixirs when they have creaminess to it. So with the hemp seeds and the cacao, which this is actually cacao in its whole form, it has both the fiber and the fat. So the good fat for healthy brain function, for making healthy hormone balance, as well as the fiber, which is the dark part of the cacao. I like to add healthy fats to my elixirs because, again, it's good for hormone balance, brain function, as well as it creates that body, it creates that thickness that I'm looking for when I'm drinking a creamy elixir. Another thing I didn't mention about cacao is it's rich in magnesium. So if you are one to crave chocolate right before your flow comes, or just crave chocolate in general when you're stressed, it has magnesium in it, which helps the body relax. So if you have cramping, this can help relax the body to perhaps reduce cramping, as well as cacao has theobromine in it, which works along the same nerve pathways as caffeine, but it is not caffeine. And it can be quite mentally stimulating in ways and heart opening, as well as it can help your body release dopamine. And that is one of the feel-good hormones that make you feel happy, making you feel good. So if you're feeling, anxious or quite depressed at times of the month, and it's right before your bleed's coming, and you're feeling, moody and a bit fatigued, this is something that can help to naturally boost the mood from this sacred plant medicine. And a couple more things that I like to add in. So this is going to be really bitter, with the cacao that doesn't have any sugar added to it, and with the Shilijat, this could be quite bitter, which you might not mind. Sometimes I just make this as is, but other times I like to add in a little bit of natural sweetener. So I have here some dates. I recommend using Medjool dates in the recipe just because they're sweeter. And you can add in 1 or 2 of these dates into the recipe to add additional fiber, potassium, as well as to add some creaminess from the texture of this and a little bit of sweetness. So you could add just dates, or you could do a mix between dates and stevia. I do stevia liquid drops. This is a completely sugar-free sweetener. So if you want to stay away from even natural plant sugars, you could go the stevia route or the monk fruit route. Either of those I like. Or you could use honey, coconut nectar, whatever sounds good to you, go for it. Lastly, play around. So I had mentioned you can do ashwagandha. I brought some Brazil nuts that perhaps if you don't want to use hemp seeds, you could use Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts are high in selenium, which is that mineral that is so good for the thyroid. And, when we're rushing around all day and we feel stressed, the thyroid can be impacted. So selenium, good for healthy thyroid. You could also add in some spices. If you want to make it spicy, you could add ginger powder, or you could add cardamom. I'm actually going to add a pinch of cardamom today. Cardamom is an aphrodisiac, and I just love how it smells. The aroma of this herb is totally enticing. And also, I had mentioned the hemp seeds that I'm adding in. I just wanted to mention that these have omega-3 fatty acids in it, which are anti-inflammatory. So again, if you have a lot of stress or digestive stress, omega-3 fatty acids are going to help the body with just any kind of inflammation that might occur from digestive stress. So I love to add hemp seeds in my cooking, on top of my salads, in my elixirs. So, shall we put it all together? I have here a high-speed blender, and the cacao is naturally going to melt because of my rose water tea. I'm going to add it in here. And don't mind my blender, it is a little turmeric stained from all the golden milk elixirs that I make with coconut manna. That's part 2 recipe video we could do sometime. But so don't mind the yellow stains. This is what a blender that's being put to good use looks like. So we're gonna start with the rosewater tea. It's been steeping. I used about a tablespoon of these rose petals, and I steeped it with hot water. So this is about a cup of hot water, a cup of rose water tea. And next I'm going to add in our cacao. And again, I like to use the raw cacao that is in a whole disc form. So if you don't get, ceremonial grade cacao, I still recommend using cacao paste, cacao that comes with both cacao fiber and cacao fat, the cacao butter, because this is gonna add in this thickness to your elixir that just tastes so creamy and delicious. So cacao paste is what you'd want to go for. You could use cacao powder, that's fine. It just won't be as creamy as it will be when you get it in the raw cacao paste form. Next, I'm going to add in my Shilijat. Remember, great for vitality and energy, can help boost energy levels naturally, and it's an adaptogenic herb. So it's not going to give you energy in a sense that you can't sleep. It's just going to help your body by nourishing the adrenals and impacting the cells so that they have more energy being produced. So I'm only going to be using a little bit of the Shilijat because again it has a strong flavor, and so I'm just going to use about 1/4 of a teaspoon. You could even use 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you're using the resin, you only need a pinch. This is the powder, so about 1/4, 1/8 of a teaspoon is fine to add to this elixir. That's all I got left in my jar. And now I'm going to add the Love Tonic Womb Nutritive. And this stuff, I tell you, after I drink this the next day, I feel juicy. I love this stuff, and it's gently aphrodisiacal, so use with caution. Just kidding. And I'm adding in a teaspoon of this Love Tonic. And now I'm going to add in the hemp seeds. I'm going to do about a tablespoon, maybe a heaping tablespoon. All right, there we go. I love the way this stuff smells. It's like a creamy, rich flavor. Delicious. And now I'm going to add in my dates. So normally I use Medjool dates, which are a bit sweeter. These are Deglet Nord dates, so I'm going to use 2 of them. Add them into the blender. And I'm going to use a few drops of stevia. It says 8 drops in your recipe. Stevia, when overdone, when overused, can actually create quite a bitter flavor. So you don't want to overuse stevia because it'll just become this weird, sweet, bitter flavor. So less is always better at first. And then you can tune into what feels good for your body. Add in 8 drops. Great. And that's the recipe, but then again today I'm adding in a pinch of cardamom. I just love the smell and I love the taste of it, and we're all about taste today, right? Engaging the sense of taste and really feeling pleasure from connecting to our food. Because how often are we on the go and we're eating food in the car, or not even looking at our meals as we're eating, and we're swallowing our food whole. And then after we finished our meal, we don't even feel like we received pleasure from it. Food should be pleasurable. The more we slow down and connect with the pleasure, the more we're connecting with Mama Gaia and receiving the fruits of her nutrition. And again, like I said earlier, the more nutrition we receive and the more pleasure we receive from food, the more we're embodied in that sense of taste, the more energy we have to just overflow that energy into our creative goals, into taking care of our families, into being present with our communities. So we gotta first nourish ourselves first. Now I'm gonna blend it, shall we? All right, so let's check out this elixir. Smells delicious. And I've got this beautiful handmade mug from my friend. Again, bringing ritual into your food creations, into your kitchen. I love to use beautiful plates and cups to really honor what I'm creating. Thick and creamy. And then lastly, I'm going to top this yummy cacao elixir with a few of these dried rose petals, just to honor your inner goddess. I'd love to share with you a little song that I learned from one of my mentors of Firefly Cacao, Sina. She taught this song to me, and this helps connect to the spirit of cacao, to this sacred plant medicine. I fully believe that ritual isn't just something that we do at specific times of the year, of the month, of the moon phases. I believe that ritual can be invited into every experience in life, every moment in life. We can have ceremony. And it all comes down to our attention, our conscious awareness of the intention behind why we're doing what we're doing. My intention is for you all today that this information awakens your sense of taste, helps you deeply feel embodied in this body temple so that you feel rooted and that you can take these beautiful, wild, creative ideas and bring them down, harness them down into your system and make magic, birth magic into the world for others, that you feel so radiant and exquisite. I hope that for you, just as I hope that for myself. So that is my intention for this cacao medicine, and here is the song that I want to share with you so that we can connect with the cacao. Touching to the heart, taking deep breaths. Cacacita la medicina, cacacita la di di di. Cacacita la medicina, cacacita la di di di. Cura, cura, cuerpecito, cura, cura la di di di. Limpia, limpia, esperititu, limpia, limpia la di di di. Touching your elixir to your heart, awakening the energy of the heart as we are about to receive this sacred plant medicine, coming into the embodiment of taste, slowly, mindfully tasting our creation, tasting this nourishing elixir, slowly engaging this sense. It's creamy, it's sweet, it's delicious, it has nourishing herbs for your body. From my kitchen to yours, may you honor your body temple, may you feel pleasure, may you embody the sense of taste, and make magic in everything you do from this great vitality that you're building within. Thanks.